Hello everyone and welcome to the Hockey Hub. Now today we're going to be talking about, well, how I got into hockey and how it's become such a big part of my life. Now I got into hockey I seriously got into hockey about 5 years ago. I was in middle school at the time, and my friends had been playing street hockey, so I started playing that with them. Then as I started to play street hockey, I took more of an active following in the actual NHL, then preceded it was the World Juniors and all that stuff. So hockey's always been a very big part of my life. My dad's a hockey fan. He's a Montreal Canadiens fan. That's where I got the love of this team from. So I think hockey has really changed my life for the better, for one. Hockey is such a large community, and there's so much things you can do, within the sport, whether that's playing it, or being a coach, or analyzing and writing about it. There's so many different careers and opportunities and hobbies that come out of being a hockey fan. Now, I'm a dedicated hockey fan. I try and watch as much hockey as I can, whether or not that's my own team, I watch every game, or other teams, just to see, what the rest of the league is like. I try and follow all players, because I have a true love for the sport. And I think, even though I am a Montreal Canadiens fan, I'm a hockey fan first. So the sport doesn't end there with Montreal. So today we're going to be talking about some of my favorite players. Now, obviously, a lot of my favorite players are on my own team, but I do follow the rest of the league, like I previously stated, and a lot of my favorite players do come from other teams, and I'm only going to limit the amount of Montreal Canadiens that I put on this list. So, we're going to do my top 5 favorite players in the National Hockey League. Now, starting at number 1, we've got Carey Price. Carey Price is one of the greatest goaltenders in Montreal Canadiens history, and probably the greatest Montreal Canadian since Patrick Roy, or at least Saku Koivu. Now, Carey Price has carved himself out a legendary career, winning a Hart, a Vezina, William M. Jennings, a Ted Lindsay, and he's had a lot of international success with Team Canada, whether that be the World Junior Championships, the World Cup of Hockey, or the 2014 Sochi Olympics. Now, Carey Price has been my favorite for a long time, because he's obviously the centerpiece of Montreal's franchise, and being a Canadiens fan, you hold on to that. But I think I found a true appreciation for Price when I started playing street hockey goalie, and I learned how difficult the position was, especially playing in Montreal, the hockey hotbed. All the pressure that comes with playing that role, because Price can make or break games. It also helps that Carey Price is a very nice man. He does a lot of community work, and obviously went to the award show with the kid from Brantford, my hometown, and he constantly shows time and time again he's a very good person, a quality guy, and still, in my opinion, is one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League, but not the best. That would be Andrei Vasilevsky. Now, moving on to number 2, I have Sidney Crosby. Now, I know Crosby might be an obvious one, but, he's Crosby. Some people hate him, mainly Philly fans, but that's okay, I understand. But Crosby is one of the classiest acts the game's ever seen, and he's one of the best players the game's ever seen. And in my generation, obviously now, we're moving into the McDavid era, but when I got into hockey, Crosby was the real deal. And I respect greatness, and I think most people do. Especially, you gotta look at all the things Crosby's won. 3 Stanley Cups, 2 Conn Smythes. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. And my personal favorite Crosby moment would be the golden goal from the 2010 Vancouver Olympics. It's just iconic, and in my opinion, one of the greatest goals in the history of the sport. So, my love for Sidney Crosby knows no bounds. Now, moving on to number 3, I have the heart and soul of the Montreal Canadiens, Brendan Gallagher. Now, Brendan Gallagher is an inspiration for many, including myself, because he's not the most talented player. He just works hard, he grinds, and he plays with a lot of heart, and that's something that can really be admired and respected in a player, especially when compared to some of his teammates. He makes them look lackadaisical. So, Brendan Gallagher is he's everything for the Montreal Canadiens. He may not be the best player, but he's got the biggest heart, and I have to respect that, especially since he's a Canadian boy as well. Now, moving on to number 4, I have Nathan McKinnon. Now, Nathan McKinnon is, if he ain't the best player in the league, then he's second best. McKinnon is an absolute beast. He's an absolute horse. He's the prototypical first-line center. He's an absolute superstar. He's a franchise talent. He's all this, but he wasn't always. McKinnon had a great rookie year, but then the seasons following, it brought mixed results. Nobody knew where McKinnon would lie in terms of first overall picks as far as their rankings go, because he averaged out to be a 50-point centerman. Everybody knew the talent was there, but maybe he was just playing on a bad Colorado team. But the thing that I really like about Nathan McKinnon is how he actually picked up his game and reinvented himself. Not necessarily his playing style, but his attitude, his work ethic, his taking care of himself. Now, in a Spit and Chicklets interview done back in 2019, Nathan McKinnon talked about how he got a sports psychologist to, figure out how to better himself, better his mindset, and better his game. Now, I really respect him being open about that because, psychology and whatnot isn't an easy thing for some people to talk about. So I think that makes him an inspiration for many athletes, and, he's just fun to watch. Now, moving on to the fifth and final player on this short list, I have Connor McDavid. Now, Connor McDavid is the best player in the National Hockey League, and I think that's safe to say. Connor McDavid, once again, I've always liked, because he plays on my second favorite team, the Edmonton Oilers. I have his jersey, actually. And just watching his talent, the things he can do, it's amazing. But where I really gained a lot of respect for Connor McDavid is when he got injured at the end of the 2018-2019 regular season in the final game against Calgary. He smashed his knee off the post, trying to do one of his incredible plays, and questions were in the air about whether or not he would be able to return to the level he was once at. But he worked so hard to get back to the player he was, and he came back even better. Since I'm singing McDavid's praises, I figured I'd put on the Edmonton jersey. Now, I have a feeling that, as I see McDavid progress throughout his career, he'll probably climb higher and higher up my list, and I know that my list consists of some of the best players in the league, and that's very cliche. I'll make a list further on of some of my favorite players that are maybe lesser known guys or guys that aren't absolute superstars. Not that I would say Brendan Gallagher is a superstar, but still. So, I just think McDavid is going to be an incredible player, and he's going to go down as top 5, maybe of all time, depending on some people's opinions of the old greats of Bobby Orr and Gordie Howe, and in my opinion, the undisputed number 1 and 2 of Gretzky and Lemieux. But time will tell. But for now, McDavid's the best player in the league, and he will likely still be the best player in the league for the next 10 years. He's an incredible talent, he's amazing to watch, he seems like a good guy. So, and he's Canadian, so that's always a bonus for me, being from Canada, watching the World Junior Championships. So that's something that typically makes me latch on to players a bit more, especially if I can root for them in international play. So thank you all for watching, however many few of you actually watched till the end. I appreciate it, and the channel's just starting. This is like the second video, so I don't expect much, but it's an outlet for me to talk hockey, and well, I love talking hockey. So hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.